What's up, guys?
No, they're not going in the bed. Absolutely
Let me
not.
just double check everything's working. All right, let's get started. So we'll just go through my setup, go through a couple stocks, and just show you what I look for through the day and how I set up my day so far. So key levels, have kind of been there. We've been, thank you, yeah, new profile pic. They've kind of been there. We've been in the same area, so these certain levels just have certain impact in the market, but overall, let's just start with what I do every morning. I wake up, I start my overnight highs, overnight lows. We had a big sell-off on the news this morning after the push and then sold off or whatever happened. Find. Let's see if that low was open or not. Overnight lows, basically took it out right away. So we have like a 95-96% chance to take out the overnight highs and overnight lows in the market. So you're gonna either or. So you definitely want to, if we open up in the middle, we have a 98-96% chance of hitting one of these. Of course, we open towards the low, so the market has the least amount of energy to take out those overnight lows. So, and I always like to do the overnight mid. Sometimes overnight mid helps. I take my fib. $41.58.50. So these are just the key levels. Sometimes bid access a good line. So add that in. And then basically watching. Of course, unfortunately, we opened towards the lows. So this overnight low, overnight high really didn't help us. And then I also take yesterday's high, yesterday's low, and yesterday's mid, which a lot of people who trade futures call it half back. And you'll see on my chart, I normally don't mention it, but I do have it on my chart as I'll just say half back. So we can just take yesterday's and we'll make it green. So you have the highs, the mid, and the low of yesterday's price action. Sometimes I'll mark up the weeklies, but going into the market open, those are the ones I'm trying to nail out. So with opening up at those lows, pretty quick taking out. I always mark up your opening print, which is going to be that first, basically market open. You're looking for market open. Wish I would stay when I change time frames. So we're looking for 9:30. I just mark up the 1 minute open, and definitely this really has been helping me a lot lately. So got 9:30 right here, open 9:30. All right, I've set up open. So, usually you're going to have 1 minute orb. Yeah, good luck with that. Usually you're going to have that opening print act as a support or resistance. There's a beautiful support there. We broke below, was used as a resistance, broke above. Look at used as support, broke below, used as resistance, broke above. Pretty much this one line, just the opening price. This one line alone you could have made so many scalps off of it. So why not throw that on your chart? I'm actually long, so I'm going to close this position. I'm going to turn it off. Okay, so yeah, some people are saying I'll sit a little closer. me make sure this is turned on the right thing. Yeah, okay. So, that opening print just alone, what I'm looking for. Also, when we open up, what I'm looking for, we're below overnight lows. I'm watching to see if we're able to get more sellers and be able to establish price underneath overnight lows. So just by looking at like the first hour here, I wouldn't say we got sellers underneath overnight lows. We broke above, we kept breaking above. So I'm not seeing strong selling underneath overnight lows. Just like if we're going into price from yesterday's lows, where are we from yesterday's lows? If we opened up below yesterday's lows, what I'm watching is, are we going to be able to grab sellers underneath yesterday's price to continue the selling off right here? Tuesday. I was like, we had the big move today, but we didn't really have a big move today. Yesterday we had the big move. So I was a little confused there. So, if we did open up below yesterday's, are we going to be able to find price underneath yesterday's lows? Same with above. You want to see if buyers actually come in above yesterday's highs. Kind of use it as a support. Today, of course, was an inside day. So we were expecting a lot of chop, maybe a continuation from the year market continue to go. And we'll see what really happened today. So basically off the open, only thing that was pretty good was that opening print. You kind of want to stay bullish if we're above it. And, you kind of look bearish if we stay below it. Especially sell-off days, you'll see will come up to the opening print and not be able to retake it and then continue to sell off. So that's something you're definitely looking for too. But what I'll also do is, if I don't see any plays that I like, this looks really weird for some reason. What I do is take the 1 hour high to low and mid. So you're going to take your 10, 12. And this is going to be your initial balance. So your first hour is going to be pretty action-packed. I like to see kind of what the market's doing during that 1 hour. And you can tell today, what the market do here? Nothing really. If we replay it from 10:30, so we can actually see it. Like what's this really showing you? Nothing. I mean, not really showing me. We're opening up, the higher half. If we went back to yesterday, let's look at yesterday's price. Yesterday's first hour. Here's yesterday's first hour. Pretty solid move up, pretty solid sell off. So we actually opened up here. So, definitely trend up, trend down. So I like to use kind of the initial balance as just adding in levels. I believe it works pretty well. You have I think a 95% chance to take out the initial balance high or the initial balance low during RTH, during market open. So, I'm using statistics as an advantage for me. So what I like to do is kind of see what we're doing there, overall looking right here. 10:30 pops up here. I'm like, okay, from here I'm looking at, we're holding above initial balance. We're above opening price. And we're inside day. So we're kind of inside, might slowly chop up. But obviously the trend obviously, I'm going to say obviously a lot, but our trend is up right now. So the play was, you could take an initial balance mid to high. You can tell how we hit that. And what I like to see is this initial balance kind of used as a support to continue higher. And let's see if that's actually the initial balance times 2. Sometimes I like to look at that. So we got 0, so we're going to have minus 1. Maybe minus 0.5. And there we go. So what it did is right here, our kind of our high right here is the initial balance times half. So it went up. Our initial balance went up, went back down. But our trend is up. So technically, I could have taken this play. I didn't execute this one. I'm trying to figure out what the play I took today. Let me look at my chart on which one that I actually took today. But the play was the hold initial balance. You could keep your stop 2 points below initial balance, and you still would have stayed in. Nice solid move up. Chop around that initial balance high, continue up. Trend days, you'll see us hold initial balance high, push up. Trend days down. I like to see us tap that initial balance low, which is the first hour, the candle, which probably has one of the most volume in it, and push down. Chop days will look like yesterday, kind of just back and forth in the initial balance. Let me find that play I took today. So the play I took today on ES was a downtrend. It's kind of like this one right here. So I saw us holding above initial balance. So I thought we would continue higher, and my stop, I just put it too tight right here, and I got stopped out. Really should have put it kind of lower, maybe overnight lows. And I actually hit that where my PT was. Definitely wanted to see that play, but I put my stop too short. 15 points. I had 2 point stop on it. If I would have made it 4 points, still would have made really, really good money. Just got stopped out. So, on that one, I just got stopped out. Of course, choppy days, I like to put a little tighter risk on it, and didn't happen. But usually on the 1 minute, I'm, kind of got narrow sighted today. 1 minute, if you pop up that 15-minute chart, yeah, 10:30. Pop up that 15-minute chart. Definitely. Let me pop that back. When you get narrow sighted, I like to tell people to kind of go farther time frame, hit the move a little bit better. If you pop up that 15-minute chart, 30-minute chart, hour chart, overall, this market kind of seem obvious. You can tell this one right here is nice doji. My buddy got in this play right here. I told him, I was out picking my son up at 11 or at noon. We had a doji hitting half back from yesterday's price action. So that you'll see sellers and buyers at the half back because they want to keep the price, but we had a nice doji, nice move down. Also today, what I saw, I don't really want to talk about ES that much, but today what I saw was, since their trend was up, I like to kind of find impulse moves. Just nice strong moves. They try, right now it's the battle of 4,100 versus 4,200. With 4,150 being what I've been saying is the line in the sand. So we're, buyers want to hold 4,100. Sellers do not want to see 4,200. So we're going to keep battling back and forth. You can tell we almost came down at a 4,100. We're at 4. On Bookmap, we had nice liquidity down here. So we had this nice strong move up. We got 1 minute bottom doji. So what I usually do is take my fib retracement from this and kind of look for a retracement back down. I'm gonna turn off this initial balance. Turn off. Here's this price action. You can tell we had a pretty decent move. Back down to 0.5. Also could have moved up here, to get long here, where they're stopped just below that 0.618 fib. Definitely overall, very, very smart thing to do. I've been working personally to start doing these fibs a lot more often. Also, I like to do kind of from the low to the high. If we have a nice strong move up and you see us kind of sell out pretty strong, where was the second place to actually go long? Pretty solid. Bounce off this golden zone and then continue up. So these plays right here, the risk to reward is really, really good. You're kind of looking for a new high. Stop would have been I would have did 3-4 points. And we would have had 26 points. I would have taken most position off at the previous high, so 20 points. So we're risking 2-3 points, and we got 20 points on that one. That one's just about execution. Of course, today, I took 2 losses, 2 small losses. I think 3 points each play, 2 points each play, and I was like, yeah, I'm done with the day. Price action really didn't make sense, but I kind of zoomed in like this. When you're trading futures, kind of get a little zoomed in. You're looking at this, but if you pop that 15-minute, I'm telling people, pop the 15-minute, 30-minute chart up, and it just makes more sense sometimes. Inside, your failed 2 ups that I'm starting to learn. Inside bars, there's your beautiful inside bar, double inside, strong move up. So that was pretty much on AES. Something I alerted end of day. I was, what stocks are moving. Let's go to hopefully that slides over enough where you can see it. Kind of go to my overall watch list and just look at the top stocks. So TTD earnings, QS, Upstart, Roblox, Coin, AMC, Space, Airbnb, Beyond, Affirm, Fubo, Roku, Dash. I was watching PLTR, Skills, Rivian. Like, what are the SoFi, DraftKings, Lyft? What do these all have in common? All these stocks ran overvaluated during COVID. And what happened when we started raising rates? All these stocks got destroyed. Not sure about TTD though, because they had earnings. Not really 100% destroyed. QS, I remember trading QS. Tell where I marked up. QS used to be 130. Hit 5. Upstart, I swear PTs on Upstart were 500. 4 or 5, it hit 12. You know what I'm saying? Roblox, 135, hit 24. So all these stocks, this is always something to keep in the back of your mind. I think it's growth. They call it growth stocks. Coin, AMC, everyone had the short squeeze. Airbnb used to be 210, got down to 82. So all these stocks ran up super, super strong during COVID, and now are just got destroyed when it started raising interest rates. They're overvaluated. But you can tell these are all the top moving stocks. So risk is on. But the problem with risk being on is greed starts to happen. So you have that fine line. So something I'm noticing, that's why I kind of took my swing calls, because I've been noticing is, these stocks are kind of running. Bitcoin pushing, everything's pushing. With taking call swings, just let the chop happen on ES. Eventually NQ will go, and then, all the other individual stocks will go. Hopefully that happens. Overall, ES, on the daily. Just an overall chop, but it's kind of lagging behind all these growth stats. So hopefully it catches up, get a little push, kind of get a little bull run with the risk being on. But you always gotta be careful because greed is on also. But let's see if we can actually break out of this, continue up, and maybe like a good solid red day. So let's see how all that happens. SPY. So on SPY, the only thing I chart on SPY are like super key levels, 410. If you went long on 410 at any time today, you would have printed. I actually was about to go long here with a 1 minute stop closing below 410. But by the time I decided to get into it, we had that close right here. So, I would have literally probably got stopped out on that huge wick down. But overall, no 5 minute, I think no 5 minute close underneath 410 today. So, 410 definitely, we break below 410, definitely watch for a bloodbath. But there's your no close below 410. But I just chart dark pool on SPY. You can tell where our chop happened. Our chop happens where all this clustered dark pool. Once we get out of the clustered dark pool, we kind of have smooth ceilings. We kind of push really nice. So it's something you always want to keep in mind. And that's why I really didn't want to get into a lot here, just because we're in those clusters. To downside, I'm looking at this 213 Monday dark pool down here. And then it's pretty much recent. And then up here, we do have kind of that 2-3 special print. That one's going to be an interesting to get through. QQQ, I just have that one dark pool print, that came through, and they wrote puts against it $1.2 billion live. I don't think we're going to get back below that. It was kind of right here, kind of super bullish here until they probably got out of it. So with normal stocks, what I like to do is kind of use key levels. I go through the chart, kind of use simple key levels. I always mark up last week's POC, kind of helps me out to see where price. Mr. John, honestly, you could get it all through their Twitter. Someone's always posting dark pool. Yeah, it works a lot better if you have it live and all that. But with those special prints, today's special print was pretty much last, the closing price yesterday. Was it 215? I think it was this one. We're 1279. So, by knowing that, I think it came out here, the special print at 1 or something like that. But yeah, by knowing that, our closing price, but technically special prints, you can just mark closing price yesterday. And that's pretty much where the special prints are, these wicks. Sometimes some of these wicks are going to be special prints. But yeah, noticing that low, but honestly, I don't like it. I find enough people on Twitter that they give enough information out that they could that I could follow what they have, like AMD kind of I don't want to get below this dark pool that we have. 213, 193 million. We kind of got below with Tuesday's data, but we're kind of holding above. They give enough information out that you kind of don't need to spend $80, $90 a month. I'd rather go trade ticks personally. So with options, I kind of do key levels. What I like to do is wait for a break and retest of key levels or downtrend breaks of certain stocks. Apple, for instance, does kind of an impulse move, consolidates, pushes up, nice move up here. We consolidate, we push up. So you're kind of waiting game for the downtrend right here. This one kind of just lined up very perfectly. we're all lined up perfectly. Broke above this. I think we're down. We're already trimmed once. I think I'm down like $2. Want to see where far out, just in case that pullback does happen in market. And we're looks like hopefully we continue up to that 157, and I will take the win on that. But overall, just looking at key levels, what I do is go into 4 hour and kind of find where support becomes resistance, becomes support, becomes resistance throughout the whole chart. You can tell us 151 right here is definitely a key spot. Tell look support here, we break below resistance, we break above support, kind of a support here, kind of support here, we break below resistance, break above resistance, 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 resistance. So what are we kind of doing right now? We're holding it as a support. So overall, you can take the initial breakout of 151. I don't like to take that. Hopefully our move is a little better than 6.45 points. Let's see if we could get that. You'll see like kind of a pattern will break above or retrace back down to that key level and then continue up. So this is what I like to do on the stocks, just waiting for these key levels, see how they react. We had an initial strong move off of it, strong move above, and overall we're kind of holding. I don't think we fell below. Let's look at if we fell below. Yeah, just once we closed below, we opened below. So I don't really like the instant cut. We have a sell off overnight because we obviously recovered pretty well. So I just go through my tickers looking for just key spots. AMD, kind of a little weird thing on AMD. It kind of happens every dollar. So, but overall, AMD took a kind of a long swing on AMD because I've seen this in a couple stocks before. Not sure which one. You have this huge downtrend break. Then we broke out. We kind of held it, but we're flagging right here. So what I'm looking for is that kind of, we break out, we flag, and then we continue up. Definitely looking for that 92. Amazon, just go to your 4 hour and just mark these up. Sometimes 1 hour, sometimes 4 hour. Really haven't been using supply and demand lately. Just because we're in the same spot. So Amazon, I think I did a class or review. Kind of Amazon right here was kind of in no man's land. I was watching 100. Now I was watching 93 to the downside. Right here, we broke 100. We fell right below. So if you took that breakout, you would have had to have great risk management to stay in that play and to actually average out. You probably wouldn't have been stopped out of break even or lost overall in the trade. So what I'm looking for is Amazon to come back down to this 100 and test it as a support. It hasn't done it yet. So kind of, if you see that happen tomorrow, 100 nice psych level, kind of sell off that 100, pop up that 102. So that's kind of a waiting game. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. There's, I know there's 500 stocks in S&P 500, but you have plenty of stocks, plenty of levels. Kind of wait. This 102.36 just seems like this level. We have a bunch of supports, a bunch of resistances. I could put one right here. You can tell kind of uses support, and we haven't tested it as a resistance yet. So let's see how it happens. Let's just see how that level I did comes back here. Pretty solid support here or below. Pretty much resistance there, resistance there. We can even go back farther. Just look how it lines up. Support there, support there. So throughout the whole stock, the history of the stock, you're going to have these key levels. This is just pretty simple TA to do on a chart. Google, we held the 93.69. Usually I like to have a kind of a better, I'm going to do these darker lines. But Google, look at this. Resistance. Did we break above it and test it? So let's see if we actually broke above and tested, what was that, 100? It was on earnings, so obviously, there we go. It was on earnings, or the day before earnings, was pushed the day before on some other earnings. So overall, we really didn't test it, but look at how it acted that, once we broke below. We broke below. You can tell we kind of had a little bounce off of it. Broke below. Resistance. Next day, we opened up above it. Broke below. Boom. Hit that 100 and sold off all the way to 93.69. Pretty solid move just by knowing that 100 cycle level, their key level. Just move your, when your options go an extra week out, have your stop loss 101. If you're going to break above that, you step out. It's not that big of a loss, probably 15, maybe 20% loss. But, your overall, you got 6 points to 1 point. So 6 hours, not bad. But something I was watching on Google, I'm very upset I didn't really take advantage of this. If you pop up, so we had that sell-off from the Bard. I think it was Bard. So we had the strong sell-off from Bard. The thing I noticed was when we sold off, kind of like a little overreaction. So, Google, for me, Google's a really, really good long-term investment. But sold off just because it gave like a random question here or whatever. You can tell if you pop up that weekly POC, where's that weekly POC? Down at the bottom. If you want to have a sell-off, your POC should look like this. You should have most of the shares sold up here, possibly a little bit halfway through, panic selling, but you should have most of your shares sold up here. Obviously, look at the low no profile here. So it just sold off, really didn't panics. Like a lot of panic selling, but the people, I think they held, kind of the whales and the long-term holders. So by watching us kind of overreaction sell off and the POC being down here, this could have been a decent swing. Now, I'm kind of upset I didn't take it. Well, I didn't want to over leverage my calls because I'm already in 3 right now. So, that's something you always want to look at. I always pop up your weekly POCs, kind of see where that weekly volume comes in. Volume came up at the highs. If you mark this, volume came up at highs. Are we able to establish new buyers at the highs? Obviously didn't because of that news. We sold off. So, kind of use that as your bias. That's what I love to use. I have last week's POC and then this weekly one we haven't retraced back down to. So, surprise, if we got down there, I definitely would have went it. But I can see Google hitting 100. Meta, I'm not really looking at Meta. Microsoft, I kind of followed flow on Microsoft long term. Let's erase this one. Let's erase that. Get off our inside bars because we're not going to look at inside bars. All right. So Microsoft kind of been super strong since the AI and, kind of leading with the way with chips. I saw some flow going to May. Kind of makes sense. If we continue up until this 274 level, definitely a key level. If I had that 4 hour on, kind of just, if you go back, kind of this key level is support, resistance here, resistance there. So this is what I'm talking about. You wait for, this is what I'm talking about. So 274, you're waiting for 274 to tell, oh, we were held as resistance. If you take the break of 274 here, basically you got one play like this, the breakout, or if you wait for the retrace, the retest at 274, you get that. Which one's better reward right here? The retrace. So that's why I like to wait for the retrace. Sometimes the breakout is a false breakout. It's more risky. I love to see the retrace in the continuation. So that's a good example of that. But at 274, support broke below. I just took this on flow, kind of far out. You know, if we do get a little bull run going, little risk on, I like it. It was just weird. They went 315s for May. That's super far out of the money. I mean, we're way up here. Maybe they're going for next earnings. Who knows? So, well, you know, 274. We've 1, 2, 3, 4 rejections so far. So, what are you guys going to be looking for on Microsoft? You know, on Microsoft, the breakout of 274. You could take the breakout of 274, or wait for that retest and continuation up. NVIDIA, I love playing NVIDIA because it follows levels almost to a T. We're coming up to 230 actually. Pretty much a nice cup and handle, if you want to call it. I don't really take plays based on cup and handles. But we already have one resistance of 230, two resistances of 230. So watch out 230 to be broken, and possibly I would wait for a retest and a continuation. What I was kind of watching on the video is we kind of have this, but it's already been ruined. So I was kind of, I think right here, I would love to see that and then a continuation down. But of course, we did actually break this high. So for me personally, it's invalidated. But NVIDIA, I mean, you could take these levels and pretty much, you know, if you took the 182, of course you missed that one, but the breakout of the next one, 185, there's that retest continuation up. You know, especially at the lows, this is something you'll see at the lows, you'll see consolidation. NVIDIA likes to consolidate between the two levels, and I usually, there's that breakdown, there's that retest, continuation down, retest again, continuation down. This one, I would have loved to see a 149 retest, but didn't happen. But then we had this right here, 160, former support, became a resistance, broke above. That's a pretty decent retest right here. I don't know what this wick was. If I go different time frame, I'll mess it up. So definitely something I like to look at. You know, with stocks, you know, this is something you just kind of go through all your stocks. Tesla, you know, Tesla at the lows. Where was a good spot to get it at the lows? Right here. You have support. We broke below. We came back up. Resistance. You could take in the breakout of 137.50, or are you taking the retest? If you taken the breakout on options, you would have been stopped out, break even, or would have been down here, just the way theta and all that works. But if you would have taken the retest, look at that continuation up. Here's another one. 182, resistance there. Kind of a resistance there. We finally broke above. We came back, we held 182, and we continued up. So going into tomorrow, definitely watch this 214 level to see if we break above, retest it, and continue up. And then kind of like the other stocks, I kind of just do small, you know, certain levels here and there. Coin. Make these darker. I'm slowly going through all my charts to make these darker. I'm noticing when I send out alerts. Coin, here's your, you know, resistance here at 56, resistance here, resistance again. We broke above, we held it, we blasted off. So, and then we came back and tested again and continued up. What was the other ones I alerted? Roblox took off today, and where was another one? I kind of fumbled the bag. A lot of these, I need to start setting alerts again. But look at this: support. Broke below. Oh, now we're resistance. We broke below. Support. What we do again? Support, bounce, push. 10 points, just like that. Roku. I mean, Roku 62. Support, resistance. And there's your breakout. We didn't have a retest of it. I was also watching this 53 level. You tell going through it. Pretty decent support and resistance level. There's that break above, that retest, and we actually came down and retested it again. Shop kind of showed it perfectly. Kind of a waiting game on Shop at 41. This is kind of where if you take the breakout, you kind of, or SOL, you kind of got to stop out. This is the only one we kind of retested, but came right back down. But there's your beautiful 41. Breakout, retest, continuation up. What was the other one else? Pretty much any chart, you can go through this and try to find key levels. Just look for, right here, 15.64. Resistance. We broke above, good taking the breakout, but here we go. Retesting it, continuation up. So this is kind of like what I like to teach kind of newer, just keeping it simple. You're just finding a level. I could go to SPY. Well, let's go to QQQ just because I don't really have it marked up that much. And I could go to 1 minute. I could be like, looking at this, I'm like, for me, the only thing I see here is kind of like right here, double top. But like, that really doesn't show much. Like, this basically invalidates it. But if I go on like the higher time frame, you can see where QQQ, where you want to get in, where you want to, right here, 297.24. Resistance here. We broke above, we came back down, tested as support, and looks like we're probably going to continue higher. So these are a little easier for me. You could do, kind of keep your stocks you're doing kind of high liquid. Let's see if did BA retest? So I was waiting for this 216 level to break out of BA. We had a strong breakout. See, did we retest their market hours today? We broke below, but I mean, this little move here on stock, if you executed this properly, pretty decent move up. And there's another one, pretty decent move up. So, just go through your stocks, go 4 hour, even these ones, like, what am I looking for here? Resistance, support that becomes resistance, that becomes support. Just key levels. There's your break above. Actually, broke above quick. The next day, we retest it and continue up. Netflix 300. This was a waiting game. I did not take it because I didn't think it was going to do it. 300, resistance, broke above, support, broke below, resistance, we broke above, just never tested it. So, you move on. Let's see what Square. Right here, this previous pivot was kind of used as a resistance. I see a lot of people, they like to use boxes too, kind of helps you out, kind of gives you more leeway. Kind of helps you look at it. Of course, it's white for some reason. But this level, kind of a resistance there, resistance there. There's your breakout. There's your retest. Your continuation up. What's up, Expo? Let's see. Snow. Let's see what Snow did. Snow 156. Support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, resistance. There's your breakup. Kind of a double tap on 156. Continuation up. So overall, that's what I like to use on stocks. You have plenty of stocks to go through, plenty of levels, higher time frame. No, get in your position. I always say get in your position. Kind of start looking, if we got Snow off 156, where's your stop? Where's your take profit? You don't panic selling the, I have an issue with is panic selling on that first red candle you see. So, if I'm going longer term on Snow, we're getting at this 156 retest right here. Where's my stop? I'm looking at possibly right here, kind of a previous resistance, kind of support there. So I stop $3. PTs, I would look at where did we have struggle previously, kind of this level right here, where you had a resistance here. So I would have taken profit when we saw 165 to kind of that 165 level struggle. See what it did. You would have taken off 156, 165, pretty much would have saw a reversal here. Gotten out, trimmed, whatnot. But then, let a few run. Kind of do stop loss break even. If we're far out, you're really not worried. If we do come back down and hit that, kind of do your math. If you have 2 contracts and we took profit up here, do your math on that last contract to actually figure out where you, if you lose, let's say you lose, if we gain $50 share, do the math where you can lose $40 in the contract, but that is your stop. So overall, you made $10 on that trade. So, if we would have gotten here, we would have not lost $40 at this point. So we would have still been in. You tell we broke above the place where we had our stop and we continue up. So, and then that's where I kind of start moving your stop loss up. Kind of another spot. Where was another spot we kind of had a little hiccup? Would have said like 173. And that's probably where I would have got out on right here. So overall, get into a play, know where your stop loss is, know where your take profit is. Someone always says, if this, then what? Like, if this happens, what overall happens? Like, if we reject this, where's my stop loss going to be? If we push through this, where am I going to move my stop loss? So you always kind of want to be one step ahead. If we get in here and we push up and we break below, then what? Well, my stop's going to be here. This stop hits, I get out, I move on next play. If you're going 2-3 weeks out, this probably would have been a 15-20% loss. Apple, I took a couple weeks out of Apple just because Apple's super cheap to go far out. I'll get why people play weeklies on Apple. Super far cheap to get out. We got in here with this breakout. I got in here. Marked up just previous daily highs were my PTs. There's that. And I said, you know, if we reject that, I think I took profit here. So I scaled one out here. I went red, I think $30. I'm still holding this 151. That's where I really want to hold. That's kind of like where my stop loss is. The downtrend, 151. So I kind of went a little red on it. Wasn't worried. We're holding the level I want. That's going into that play. And then you can tell by holding it or far out, you know, this big move here, you know, this is a decent sell-off. You know, almost 2% Apple. Only went down maybe like 20, 25% on that option play. Far out and it's cheap. So, you know, definitely have, you know, this is my next PT. Here, I don't think I went green. So I held. You know, but I'm still holding on. AMD, you know, still went March on these. Still hold on. My dark, you know, I don't want to get below 83. Don't want to get below 83.5. Microsoft, I told people I don't want to see Microsoft. I took the fib of this swing in this one. So kind of go on the 4 hour. We have this swing high, this swing low. And what I want to see on Microsoft is us not to lose that 263. That's kind of going to be where my stop loss is. I'm in May Microsoft calls. So went down a pretty decent here, but overall, you know, I'm following flow on it. So definitely holding on to that one. But I'm not, you know, it's good to not look at the P&L. Kind of look at where this level. If possible, if we did break down here and I see a nice push around, you know, or a nice reversal, that's probably where I average down. You know, a lot of people have asked me if I'm going to average down AMD. I really didn't go far down on AMD. There was no reason to average down AMD. I'm down $5 on a contract that cost $60. There's no reason to average down AMD. Up here, yeah, no reason to average down on this. We didn't break below the low of the day I got it. So that's gonna end it for me, guys. I'm gonna go to bed. Appreciate you guys. If you guys hit that thumbs up button, if you guys aren't subscribed, appreciate you guys.